Ex- Exactly, Ramona, and I think that's a reflection of J. Kidd and a reflection of a different voice in the locker room for as a former player, former Hall of Famer, a guy that did it at the highest level. Luka has no choice but to respect what J. Kidd has to say. And I think that was the best hire for Dallas. I think that was the best hire for Luka. And what we're seeing is we're seeing a ripple effect because J. Kidd has came out in the media and said things about Luka as well, for as, him getting technical fouls, and Luka has owned up to it. So, look, right now, the Dallas Mavericks, the organization is in good hands. They're moving in the right direction. I'm with Matt on this one. They got to get them some help, especially playing in the West where you have the top dogs like Golden State, Memphis, the Suns, and like Denver Nuggets and the Utah Jazz, but they're moving in the right direction.
Well, you mentioned the playoff picture, so let's take a look at that. Looking ahead here, the Mavericks, they currently sit in the 5 seed, 1.5 games ahead of reigning MVP Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets, and then 1.5 games behind the Utah Jazz for home court advantage in the 4-5 matchup. So out of those 3 teams that are in the middle of the playoff picture out in the West, who has the best chance to make some noise in the postseason and then maybe potentially crash the Western Conference Finals, Matt?
I don't trust any of those 3 teams
because
they don't have that second. They don't have that second star. Utah doesn't have that consistent second scorer that I've been saying for a few years they need. If anything, a depleted Denver would have been my choice. We got to remember what Jamal Murray was turning into and what Michael Porter coming off a max rookie extension, the potential he was showing. But out of those 3 teams, I'm gonna be honest with you, in the playoffs, and Perk can attest, you need that second guy. That when you know your star is going to give you 30 to 35, sometimes 40, you need that second guy that's going to be 20 to 22, 23 every single night. And none of those 3 teams, Denver because they're depleted, but the other 2 teams don't have it.
I mean, Rudy Gobert can give you a little something.
Not
I know he's
on
not.
The defensive end, he's a monster.
Absolutely.
No question. But they need that 20-point every night on offense that I don't think Gobert's capable of that every night.
If, to my recollection, Jamal Murray has not been ruled out necessarily for the rest of the season. It would still be a long shot because we would be coming up on a year in April, and coming back from an injury like that would be tough. Same thing with Michael Porter Jr. What do you think, Big Perk?
I got to go with the Utah Jazz. I think they have no choice but to make some noise this season. Like, we keep watching this team year after year. Like, we're watching them. I know, Matt, but I just think I'm not picking them, but I'm picking out of these 3 because I'm looking at a Bogdanovich that could go out there and average 18 to 20 in the postseason. I'm looking at Mike Conley. Like, when are you going to elevate your game and consistently give Donovan Mitchell that help that he's been needing out of you? I'm looking at a Jordan Clarkson coming in off the bench, coming in and being that spark, a former 6th man of the year. And I'm with you, Mac. Look, I'm not picking any of those teams to make it to the Western Conference. But if I had to pick out of the 3, it would be the Utah Jazz. And I must say, this is probably going to be their last shot. Remember, they just hired Danny Ainge, and Danny Ainge is what? A guy that moves aggressively. So he's not going to continue to put up with this Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert. No, one of them guys are going to be gone if this thing don't pan out soon.
All right, Ramona?
I'm also taking the Jazz, and I'm going to go back to my preseason pick because I like teams that stay together. And sometimes I think playoff failure actually bonds you, and you fail until you don't, right? We've said that about the Raptors. We said it about a lot of other teams that fail about the Bucks. A lot of other teams that they run into a playoff roadblock year after year after year. You think about if they don't win, they're going to tear the team apart. I feel like Utah is at that stage there. They've played together long enough. They have that consistency. They had their little swoon in the middle of the season this year because they were the last team to have a COVID outbreak. Everybody seems to be healthy now. Might I remind you, Jordan Clarkson can score.
Yes.
Jordan Clarkson's 6th man of the year.
I completely agree. I love Jordan Clarkson. I was told everyone else was picking the Jazz, so I had to say something. That's why I'm giving you. But to my point, we've been saying this about the Jazz for the last 3 years. So I'm on Perk's side. You know, they won the West a few years ago. They were the top. They were the top team in the West going into the past few years ago. But we've been saying, like, when is that time? They have shooting, and I love what you said, Ramona. The chemistry outside of the Warriors, Utah and Phoenix, those teams have the most chemistry to me because they have, kind of been together for a while. But again, I think they're still missing that. And I love Jordan Clarkson as a 6-man punch who can score in the playoffs, but you need that second star, Mike Conley, Gobert. Will it be one of those guys this year? Because we've been asking that for a few years now.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.